All right, MCT4C, we are solving polynomial equations in this unit, where we take all the skills that we learned from last unit about what polynomial equations, can't say that well tonight, are, and applying them to solve problems such as geometry problems, some expressions involving cost or height and whatnot, to use those skills for actually solving problems. So I'm hoping you'll find it useful, and I'm hoping you'll find your algebra skills that we worked on last unit also are raring to go. For the first 4 examples, we are simplifying, which is just multiplication. We are doing distributive law and FOIL. So just as a recap, if I have x times 2x plus 3, I have distributive law, and my rules of powers would say I would add the exponents when I am multiplying powers. So I'm just doing them as I'm yapping here. I am multiplying each one of the terms in the next one by x squared y, which means I would have my 3, and my x power I would add to an invisible 1 to get x cubed. Get y squared because I would add the exponents in those two. Second term will now become 7x to the 4, y to the 4. So just be careful with your powers when you're multiplying that you're adding the exponents. For these two, it's still multiplication. We're still using distributive law, but because they're two binomials, we have a little memory trick, FOIL, that we get all of those terms. So my firsts would be the 3x and the 4x, which would give me 12x squared. Outside would be those two terms, which is minus 21x. Inside would be 12x, and my lasts would be the two numbers, always minus 21. Sorry to go to the next line. We can tidy that up. It's a trinomial when we're done. The two middle terms can be combined, minus 9x and minus 21. Lastly, we have 3 things being multiplied, 2x plus 2's, please be careful with this, and an x plus 3. We know that if we had a function in this form, it would be a cubic, which would have an x-intercept of minus 2, but because it's order 2, it would bounce there. The x-intercept of minus 3, my function would pass through it. So we've seen these before. If we were to expand this or simplify it, we would do FOIL on the first two, and then in a minute multiply by x plus 3. So if I do FOIL, I will get x squared. I'm going to put my outside inside together to get 4x plus 4 times x plus 3. What we're doing next is multiplying, and it's like FOIL, but FOIL gone a little crazy. I just need to make sure that I have multiplied all 3 terms by x, and then in a moment I will multiply all 3 terms by 3. So I'm going to have 6 multiplications when I'm done. So starting with the x, I'm going to get x cubed plus 4x squared plus 4x. I've multiplied by x. Then I'm going to multiply by 3 plus 3x squared plus 12x plus 12. So I've done the multiplication. I'm just going to simplify by putting like terms together. I have 1 pile of x cubes. I have 2 piles of x squareds totaling 7x squared. 2 piles of x's, I have 16x and the number 12. For the following rectangular prism, I am going to find the volume and the surface area. So first thing that I need to do is recollect what the formulas are for volume. It would be length times width times height. Right off of your test question. So for my length, I have x plus 7, width x plus 3, and height x. Order doesn't matter. You've got 3 dimensions. You're multiplying those 3 dimensions. I'm going to simplify that expression. I have some multiplication to do. I'm going to do FOIL. Whatever you choose when you've got 3 things to multiply, but I'm going to do the first 2 first to get my FOIL over with. So I get x squared. Outside, inside would give me 10x. 21 would be my lasts. All of that's going to be multiplied by x. Next line, if I multiply by x, I've got x times each one of these terms. So I should get 3 terms. And rules of powers, x cubed plus 10x squared plus 21x. I am done. That is an expression for volume in terms of the height x. I'd also like an expression for the surface area. Now you're not expected to memorize these, but they will become familiar and you've seen them all already. Your surface area is 2 of the front face, because there's one here and there's one at the back. And you've got 2 of the side faces. You've got one here and one that's hiding around there. And you've got a top and a bottom. That would be mirrored on the bottom that we can't see. So that is where my formula comes from. For surface area, I have 2, and to get the area of the front face, it would be x times x plus 3. Notice that I just love brackets. You don't need as many brackets as I have, but it works for me. For the side, I have 2 of them. And to get the area of the side, it is length times width, x times x plus 7. The top and the bottom, I have 2 of the same, and it is x plus 3 times x plus 7. So that is an expression for the surface area. It's just kind of nasty, and we're going to tidy it up a little bit. So, oh, red is just a little much, I think. All right, here we go. 2x times x plus 3. 2x times x plus 3. That's just hardly even tidied at all, but I've put the 2x together so that in a moment I'm going to do distributive law. Plus, this is also 2 times x plus 7. And in a moment I will do distributive law on those two. Plus 2 times, and I'm going to do my FOIL so that in a moment I can multiply the 2 by each term. FOIL for x plus 3 times x plus 7 is x squared. Outside inside is 10x. 3 times 7 is 21. We've seen that before. Now we're going to use distributive law, remembering our rules of powers. 2x squared plus 6x. Next, plus 2x squared plus 14x. Next, plus 2x squared plus 20x plus 42. So my last step is to put the piles in order. I've got x squareds, x's, and numbers. So my piles of x squareds total 6x squared. My x's, 6 and 14 and 20, which would be 40 x's. And lastly, I have the number 42. So an expression for the surface area would be 6x squared plus 40x plus 42. That is surface area in terms of the height. So if I knew the height, then I would know the total surface area. So you're going to work on a few of the simplification of formulas, usually that you know. But if you look at the front of your book, pages 6 and 7, have some of the formula that you have seen before if you just need a refresher. Page 112, 1 to 18, give a go at those. They should go fairly well.